Hey everyone, it's your boy Zerechanyt here, and today I'd like to discuss a more serious topic, one that has been affecting me and my channel for a while, and that's the overall state of the power scaling versus battle in anime debate community. Before I start, I will warn you that I won't be going in depth about any specific scenarios I personally haven't experienced. So if you're expecting more Seth exposing here, that's not what this video is for at all. I also want to say I don't expect or want the community to be sunshine, rainbows, and glitter. I expect people to be people, but I also think people lack common respect and decency that has made it impossible to associate with the community without putting yourself in literal physical or mental danger. This is a topic that can be connected to the overarching pitfall the likes of Seth and others have fallen into. A major pitfall that seems to plague the power scaling community is toxicity and its overall acceptance, especially among debaters. Let's say I propose the argument of Goku versus Saitama. Most people would argue Goku wins, likely a large majority in fact. So if someone were to propose what we can call a well thought out argument for Saitama winning, since the mass majority agree that Goku wins, any comeback to this is typically accepted, especially those that are ad hominem or critique or insults directly towards a debater unrelated to the topic. There are a lot of cases I've seen on Reddit communities and debate videos where someone will propose a point that is either controversial or not the accepted norm or even dumb by some standards, and they're countered with insults, slurs, or some form of degrading that is generally accepted due to the majority simply wanting to be right. The ends basically justify the means. This is made very apparent in debate videos where people will call someone the R word, stupid, or even worse words just because they don't agree or propose a point that may or may not be applicable. This may not seem like a major issue, but you must remember, these debates take place in front of hundreds of thousands of people. A lot of times, people will double down, verbally assaulting someone simply because they know their audience will relish in the win and toxicity because they believe the person deserves it for not agreeing. I said I wouldn't talk about Seth, and I don't plan to talk about him much, but if you watch some of his past debates and even live streams regarding versus battles or debates, his responses are typically in a demeaning fashion towards the other party or even his audience. The cycle of toxicity seems to be accepted mainly because some people consider being an asshole to be either A, acceptable and even preferred behavior because it shows dominance, or B, it's brushed off as a persona. Luckily, I haven't experienced either of these too much, but I have dealt with extreme dogpiling and verbal abuse from strangers who simply didn't like me because of my argument. It's fine to disagree and to even think my reasoning is dumb, but calling people the F word or the R word or telling them to commit deceased is insane lengths to go because someone says, I don't know, Saitama is planetary or something. These are fictional characters that people are using to publicly embarrass, ridicule, and diminish other people in front of large audiences. This can easily result in anxiety, thoughts of inadequacy, and even forms of depression if a debate clip circulates enough that it affects your personal perception of yourself. I hate how dramatic this sounds because truly I'm not some snowflake or innocent man who hasn't faced, controversy on the internet, but this does happen a lot. Part of why I quit debating personally was due to the way people disrespected me carelessly and how I would also respond the same way instead of being the bigger person. I know firsthand how this community can make you easily act out of character just to win some internet brownie points. Luckily, I left those things behind me as I grew as a person and a creator and didn't get hurt or hurt anyone in the process. I assume this is the same thought process as other creators who only do friendly debates with friends nowadays like Swagkage and Seth in the recent live stream, especially when things start to move into real life. Okay, for this section, we will step away from the actual debate and focus more on the aftermath. I touched on how having your reputation and ego diminished by a disrespectful debate can make someone feel mentally small. However, some people go to greater lengths whether they lose or win a debate. Since this hasn't happened to me personally, I won't linger on it, but there are multiple cases of doxing, threatening, and other unacceptable actions towards people's personal lives and loved ones, simply to resort to the same dominance play we mentioned earlier. This dominance complex seems to stem from these debaters themselves wanting to be seen as a godlike threat of some sort, like their favorite anime characters. It's just my own theory, but it seems that it's accepted easily for the same reason. Everyone wants a villain who does bad things with no remorse. The issue is, this is cool in the show, but doesn't work in real life. Real people are faced with real dangers, consequences, merely because they disagree with you or proved you wrong in a debate over fictional characters. I want to cover a few lighter topics that are equally as important, and that's the variety and expanse of power scaling content as a whole. There are a lot of people in this category of content creation. With that comes a lot of good and a lot of bad. We get to see amazing collaborations, animations, calcs, and pixel scaling that show off the impressive side of the community. On the other hand, we get made up scans, malicious translations, and even stolen topics and thumbnails. In terms of that last one, the one I want to cover the most, a lot of small creators get severely shafted by larger ones when they take inspiration from their content without receiving credit. I personally have seen thumbnails, titles, and entire videos of mine copied without a sliver of credit. These things effectively stunt the growth of small creators who already must fight their way to the top, on top of struggling in debates, which should be fun and enjoyable, but aren't because of the over-domineering toxicity that plagues most encounters. I want to end this video by saying not every power scaler or debater is a bad person. I've had the pleasure of meeting some wonderful people, and even in limited context, knowing them to be genuine and driven individuals. Some of these people I want to draw attention towards are Jobbers and Goons, Justin's Den, Chuck, and Six, for example. I'm sure you can isolate events from everyone I listed that fall into the aforementioned issues, but the difference is the growth these people show in their actions and content. I think we can all continue to improve and grow, because without this belief, I would have to admit that the dream of making my career this same hobby that I love is already dead and over. I have to also tell everyone who looks up to me and my content the same thing as well. Our community has gotten a bad rep for a while, whether it's the usual nerd emoji shit or the people calling out the actual issues. I like to make a change in going forward, and hopefully other creators will see this and follow through. Let's refocus on the passion and not trying to please your fans or win some type of internet brownie points via degrading or embarrassing other people. At the end of the day, this should all be fun for everyone. And it's okay to sometimes want to be the guy that bases somebody, especially if they're being an asshole, but at the end of the day, let's just try to remember this is all fiction. Love you all. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. If you didn't like it, leave a comment down below why you didn't. Also, share this with your favorite power scaling YouTubers. Hopefully, if any of them are dealing with something similar to this or are, an individual who is doing this, this will be a wake-up call for them to, make some type of change. It's okay to take a break from this whole power scaling and debate thing, especially when it gets really, really tense and tough. So if you are one of those creators and you're hearing this, don't feel weak, don't feel small. It's anime, dude. Like, honestly, in most cases, most people, honestly, from now on, if you want to really be toxic, just say, let's do a boxing match. We have YouTube boxing matches for a reason. We can do them in the power scaling community instead of doxing each other and trying to attack each other's families and mental health. But yeah, that's it for me. See ya.
Seen it all, fuck 'em all. They only love you when they hit a wall. Different strokes, different folks. Promise dying not to get involved. Dying peace, so it's fuck 'em too. Dying peace in the living room. Putting on for the bitches too. Got a thick bitch, but it's nothing new. Seeing me, seeing pay-per-view. I got some shit to establish. Flipping the work off the mattress. I just made an M off the back end. Get it, I'm hungry, no lacking. Expensive my denim and fabrics. All of this shit I got all for appearances. Counted up so much it made me